Here is my toy pad, and right there is the shelf that it usually lives on. And then above that is my Xbox One, and in the background you hear my kitty. Here we have our magical beasts and where to find them set. The Ghostbusters reboot set, and our Lego Batman movie set. One of the challenges of playing Lego Dimensions is all the characters you need to do different tasks, complete different puzzles, and just, try to get all those mini kits, all those red bricks. And the way I like to organize my figures helps me kind of get to them quickly and not waste a lot of time if all of a sudden this random character pops up that I need. And the best part is it's become a really great way to store these. This thing has like 10 compartments for storage. It's 3 stories high, and the thickness of each of those little storage cubbies is ideal for fitting these models and a couple minifigures. So I'm going to show you this right now and kind of show you my organization technique and my collection at the same time. So here we go. I will put, I of course separate by theme because that makes it easier to find. And so when you have multiple themes like Ghostbusters, which had, the team pack, the story pack, the level pack, and fun packs, here I've got all my Ghostbuster stuff, the 2 Ecto-1s, the containment trap, the gun that Slimer has because they needed some model to put with him, and I love this, the little dogs. This is like I love that model. I don't even care about the use of the character. In fact, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that this comes with is kind of useless, but this model in itself is awesome. And I also think that's another thing that Lego did poorly with this Dimension games is they didn't market it right. They market it to collectors, and then they also market it towards the video gamers, but they didn't really market it to Lego video gamers. So I think it got muddled, and I think they're expecting one to kind of pick up the sales from others, but it wasn't marketed to a Lego gamer, but to 2 different groups. But that's just my opinion. I don't know a lot, and I'm always open to other people's ideas. But like I said, I'm showing you the level here. We got my gun. Here's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. We have Slimer, who I didn't really need a Slimer, but I already have the one from the firehouse. I thought, let's see if they're the same or different, and it was on clearance, so why not? Here I have, I believe it's Abby Yates from the second Ghostbuster, or the Ghostbuster reboot, and of course you have Peter Venkman. And the great thing about these 2 characters is when you're playing the game, you can be any of the Ghostbusters if you have their toy tag. And then we've got this Ecto-1 and this Ecto-1. And I'm not excited that, you got 2 Ecto-1s. I thought that was kind of uncreative, but, I get it. They're 2 different vehicles, and here's the containment trap, and this is a fun little build, but, not very useful unless you're playing Venkman. And, of course, I have my Goonies set. I'm huge Goonies fan. That was a big part of my childhood, and we got Sloth here, and Baby Ruth, and he's a really cool, strong character, and I love, it kind of fell apart. This one didn't fit too well because of those sails, but I do have, One-Eye Willie's pirate ship that is a crucial part of the film, and this organ piece. I love this organ build. This organ build is so awesome with the skeletons and the little I can't remember their names right now, but the pipe organs in back. Maybe I just said the right word, I can't remember. A little keyboard, this is just an awesome set. And then, so that's my Goonies and Ghostbuster stuff. Over here, underneath it, I've got Harry Potter. Harry Potter has become so useful in the game. I'm using him all the time. Just between his ability to put out fires, destroying red bricks, Parseltongue, he just does it all. And I haven't used Voldemort a lot in the game because I've got Harry Potter. But he's a really cool character to have, especially when I'm going to do some stop motion, because now I have the main villain of Harry Potter. And we have his the car that's alive and kind of goes crazy and gets him in the Whomping Willow as they're late for school. You got the Hogwarts Express here. There's lots of Hogwarts Express mini models, so this is a pretty nice looking one. And then over here I've kind of got the other characters. You've got, Newt, and Newt is, of course, I can never remember her name, but she's, you know, the main love interest in the Aurora, who's kind of caught in Newt's journey. And of course we have Hermione, and I have to say I have never used Hermione in the game yet. And I love this. We've got the Niffler. The Niffler, it's a fun little mini build. I'm always big on animals and magical creatures. I'm looking forward to getting Newt's kind of suitcase set once it is on sale. And then here we've got the, oh, what is that? It's one of the beasts in Magical Beast, but I'm drawing a blank on what animal it is. And of course we have a griffin, and yeah, this griffin model's okay. I was hoping for a little more because I bought the Ghostbuster set before it, and loved the Zool dog. And of course here we've got the gamer. He's a fun little character to have. Lots of superpowers because, you know, you just kind of power up to whatever level you want to do. And you have the Spy Hunter car, and I love the Spy Hunter car, and this is kind of a cool design, very sleek. I love that. And I love this with the gamer, the little video console with Defender on it. And it's funny because I've been a lot more interested in different video game console MOCs designs since I got this set. And then here we have our Adventure Time characters. So there we have our main hero. You know, I don't actually watch Adventure Time. I got this just because of his character. His character has the sword, and that's very useful in the game, and there's some tasks you need to complete him. And you've got Marceline, and she's awesome just because she almost is always on my toy pad, because between her ability to fly, smash red bricks, turn into smoke to go through vents, she's just a very handy and flexible character. And I got her because she was $1.99 at the Lego store, and here's her Mega Death amp here. This is a fun little design. Those pieces can definitely be used to make some fun MOCs. And then over here we've got the team pack with Jake the dog, and he's a fun little character to have, but not really that needed in the game. And then we've got this guy, and again, I don't watch the movie, so I don't know these characters' names. Please put it in the description of this video, the comments in this video. But I got him. He's just kind of fun-looking piece, but I don't really know anything about the character. And the reason I even got that team pack is for this, the BMO. He's a great fun design, but there's a few missions within the game that he's the only character that can do it. So I had to get him just for gameplay. But again, lucky he was on clearance, so whatever. And then we have a little pink car, and I know this pink car is another name, but I don't know what it is. And then we've got Jake the dog when he turns into a car. And this is kind of fun just because through the gameplay I realized he turns into a car. And this is always fun. We got a little elephant here. It shoots lasers. It's not really a, you know, you've got a lot of characters and do exactly what it does, but it's a fun little build, and not necessarily this one, but it gave me some elephant MOC ideas. And then of course, this is something I wanted. I kind of never got the Scooby-Doo set, so I was very excited to see a Scooby-Doo team pack. So I got Shaggy here. Very fun. And of course Scooby-Doo, and Builder Goose and Builder Monkey love playing with Scooby-Doo. So when they play, Scooby-Doo is usually on the board. And of course it can't be Scooby-Doo without the Mystery Machine. This is a fun little build. It feels a little just incomplete because of that big space in the back, and I know it's probably just supposed to be a window, but to me it made it look incomplete. And then of course Scooby and Shaggy both love food, so you've got this big old stack, big old double-decker, triple-decker, quadruple-decker sandwich that they made, and I love this. I've always loved like little food designs, so that's a fun little set to have. Now over here we've got some the original starter pack. So we have Batman, we have Wildstyle, and Gandalf. And I found Gandalf is really unnecessary because I have so many Harry Potter characters that can do more things than just magic like he does. So I don't use Gandalf that much. And you know, this may be it because we have all these characters who've got a cape, who's got the little mini kit detector and a staff and a cape. You'll notice none of these characters have their accessories, have their capes on. I just keep that in their same box here because really all you need is a toy tag to play. You don't need the characters, they just are basically glorified handles. So I don't don't keep accessories on them because I don't want to lose them. I don't get capes on because you're moving them around so much. I don't want to destroy the cape. So that's what I do with the accessories and keep them in the same packet. Here we've got the Batmobile. I'm sure everybody who has Dimensions has this because it came with the starter pack. But it's a fun design. You'll notice it's the original build. I haven't taken time to build the other models. I'll do that when I do my stop motion build videos. And of course we have the Portal set. And this is kind of a fun character because she doesn't talk at all, just like she did in the video game. But what I really like is this gun, her portal gun accessory. Again, I don't have it on her, but this gun is so cool looking. I love the design of it. And it's just like, this is definitely a piece I'll be using outside of Dimensions. And then of course she's got a little portal cube, and this is very handy. There are a lot of missions and puzzles that require you to have this to pass. And these robots, it's a cool build. And you do need it a few times, but only on, like a handful of times if I needed it yet to complete a mission. And of course, I was very lucky, as many of my long-term subscribers know, a couple years ago, when this Green Arrow minifigure came out, that they just had some laying around, so they gave me 2 of them, so now I get to finally use them. So, yay! And then we have our Doctor Who characters, and oh my god. I'm drawing a blank. I can't get Daleks out of my head. The Cyberman. He's a really useful character within the game. And just as a Doctor Who fan, who blanked on a very simple name, he's a great character. So I'm really glad they made this minifigure that doesn't exist in any Lego sets. And of course, you need the Doctor. And I love this Doctor's design. I like it more than the one that came in the Ideas TARDIS pack. So the design of this character is really cool. And of course, Time Lord's going to be very useful. And here we have a Dalek. And I love all the different designs that can be used for a Dalek. So this is just another great design of a Dalek. And, maybe I'll use bits and pieces for my own mocks of it. But I do love this Dalek design. And of course, you need the TARDIS. You're not going to have Doctor Who traveling through time without his trusty and maybe a little glitchy TARDIS. Fun build, a lot of extra pieces because they had to use it with 3 different builds, so there's a lot of unnecessary pieces inside this, but still a great build. And we have our K9 dog, our K9 robot dog. This is fun. I actually have a couple mocks for this dog coming up, and I'm going to use that K9 tile piece instead of a regular 1x2 tile piece, so this is kind of a fun little find. Alright, so how are y'all doing? You still with me? Because I know I found these things on clearance and I just started buying it. They're so cheap sometimes. Here we have Back to the Future. I've got Doc Brown, and I'm very excited to have these characters and Marty McFly because I missed out on the Ideas DeLorean, so I don't have these characters, so these characters are just great to have. And speaking of DeLoreans, there it is in all its micro build glory. Very cool design. And unfortunately, you can see I keep talking about want to build this, want to build this. This was the hoverboard that Michael J. Fox uses in the second movie, but I took it apart because I needed like 5 of the pieces for several different mocks I was doing, so I still haven't reassembled it from when I took that apart. And then we've got Doc Brown's time traveling train from the 3rd movie, a really cool design. And I had no train models, and now I've got like a lot, dozens of them. I have Beetlejuice here, and this is different. Beetlejuice is such a small character. This snake, this sandworm, is so small and thin that I was able to put the character with the sandworm like that in the same container. Simpsons. Love the Simpsons. I got the minifigures. I could never afford the $200 sets, but I love them, so really glad to have Homer Simpson. Really glad to have Bart Simpson, and of course, Krusty the Clown. Now, we've got their little famous pink little station wagon that they use, pulls out of the garage with, and, almost gets run over with Marge. We've got the TV here. It's fun. I love that tile piece of the Itchy and Scratchy show on this TV. If anything, that alone made this model worth it. You've got Bart Simpson's kind of soapbox racer here. Fun little simple design. And then the Krusty the Clown motorcycle. And, this one's like an okay design. It's one of the traps Lego falls into. They get these characters that really don't have a vehicle and they just make something up. So this is fine, but, not compared to the Simpsons car or the, TV stand with that tile piece. Now here we have like some video games I never thought I was going to get, but again, they're on clearance, so I gave them a try. This Ninjago Lloyd came with, I love that in the movie, free in my starter pack set, so I was surprised to get that set in it, but I did. And now over here, we actually have a combination of a couple sets. We have the kind of sports car and the motorcycle that Tom Cruise's character, Ethan Hunt, has in the first Mission Impossible movie. And I gotta tell you, I actually didn't buy this the first time around, and it worked out great because I just like, I don't know, $15 for Tom Cruise set, like whatever. But then like I went in again, and he said, I'll tell you, I'm gonna give you 50% off all the sets you buy. So not only were like they already on clearance for like $15 and $5, but then I got like another 50% off. But this character has been so useful between his ability to swim and detonate things and the whoa, excuse me. Woo! That's what happens when you're squatting for 15 minutes. So I apologize for that. But he's all under demolition and the drone flying, and his jumping is awesome. This guy is like an amazing jumper. Okay, and then I said there are two sets together. That set together is this city police officer. And I got this just to open up the city world. It's nothing special. And he has a little police helicopter. And that's my phone, so I'm gonna take a little break. So, that was a telemarketer. Woohoo! Anyway, after I hung up on the telemarketer, I cleaned up all those Lego pieces you heard kind of get kicked and spread around the room. And by the time that was done, I couldn't get back to filming. So here we are on a brand new day, and please excuse any inconsistencies. But it's a good thing that happened because I realized that I had not talked about the green dragon. And the green dragon with its long neck, tail, and wings just does not fit in here assembled. So I took it apart, but it's in several pieces that I can quickly put together if I want. And then we had left off with the cop and the Lego City helicopter. And I actually really love this mini build. Usually like the mini polybag sets for the city are simple and plain. So I love the detail in this helicopter and that nice little police tile, which I have none. So that might come in handy later. And we were going on to the Powerpuff Girls. And, you know, here's the thing. I don't watch Powerpuff Girls. I didn't really like Powerpuff Girls, but I got them super cheap. Like, all these were discounted at Walmart or the 99-cent store. So we've got, unfortunately, my kids, I guess not unfortunate, but they now love the Powerpuff Girls, and we're reading the comic books, and they always are playing these. So we've got, you know, Blossom, the red Powerpuff Girl, Buttercup, not the sweetest of girls, but a Powerpuff Girl nonetheless, and then Bubbles, and they love to make Bubbles cry on the game. So yeah, I'm constantly seeing Bubbles cry. And, you know, they're little models here. Again, I never watched the Powerpuff Girls or read the comics. I didn't know much when I bought them. And then I always did like the green because I want to do some things with the Green Lantern set, and it's going to require lots of green pieces, so I'm really glad I got this one just for the pieces that came in. And, you know, the octopus is fun as well, and always fun to have little kind of cartoonish animals, so that's fun. And now to our next box. Now the next box in my collection is another assortment of smaller sets. So I've got, you know, the Jurassic Park World set, with an Owen Grady here, and you know, I didn't really need Owen because Marceline can do hunting skills as well and cut vines, but you know, it opened up the world, so I got a little baby, or not a baby, a Velociraptor, and you know, it just turns into kind of several other dinosaurs with the different builds. And you know, it's hard because I love the minifigures so much that it takes a lot for me to like animal and dinosaur builds now, because I love the minifigures so much. And then this is a one of those little gyrosphere rollers. And the interesting thing is, I bought the Jurassic World to open up the world, and you know, wasn't too interested in it. But when I did it, this toy tag was broken. So I actually had to contact Lego, who then sent me to the Warner Brothers TT gaming department, who then made me jump through several steps before they would send me a new toy tag. And then the toy tag was sent by the Lego company. So or the Lego group. So a lot of companies you had to talk to get a replacement tag. If you can, just return them to the store, just like my B.A. Baracus. This B.A. Baracus A-Team set, now I wanted this even before I got Dimensions. I just kind of didn't buy Dimensions because I didn't know how expensive and big it was going to be. And then when they on clearance, I'm like, dude, done. But this B.A. Baracus took me 3 returns from GameStop to get one that worked. And they probably just got like a bad batch in their delivery, and I got 2 of those and just need another delivery. And of course, you've got B.A. Baracus's A-Team van, and this is just an awesome build, very solid. It just looks cool. And there's that little window piece that would have made the Mystery Machine so much more complete. And then over here, this was a great find because I loved the Wicked Witch. I do want to get some of her the flying monkeys in minifigure form, but I'm really glad I got this witch because she's just a great character, and she opened up the Wizard of Oz world. And the cool thing was this set was so old that it cost me like $2.97 at GameStop, so super cheap. And here's that flying monkey build, but not a minifigure, and I actually do not like this build at all. But again, so cheap, and it opened up a new world, so I got it. And then next we have Michael Knight. Michael Knight from Knight Rider. And I love this character. I love Knight Rider and was Airwolf in my childhood during the 80s. So I love this character. But the minifigure itself, I know it's Michael Knight, but you know, it's kind of I'd say really not very distinctive because he was just a cool guy in the 80s with his permed hair. But that torso piece with a leather jacket might come in handy. And of course you have to have Kit if you have Knight Rider, because let's face it, Kit, in my opinion, was more impressive and fun to watch than David Hasselhoff. So that's a cool build, and that's another like Dimensions shortstop with me. There are a lot of things like this, like the Michael Knight character, that are cool for me because I grew up in the 80s, but I don't think it really appeals to a younger generation. And the Michael Knight character doesn't really do anything unique that Doctor Who or Cyberman doesn't do already. Plus, on top of that, the open world is just another normal city, the same, not exactly the same, but it's a city like we see in Ghostbusters. It's a city that we see in Gremlins. There's just all these different cities that aren't unique. So, not a big fan. And then here's one that as a collector, again, I wanted to get, but just didn't because I wasn't playing Dimensions, was E.T. I mean, this character is just great. I am so looking forward to like finding some stop motion videos with him. And of course, E.T. had to phone home. So you get to build his little telephone, and then also the satellite dish that comes into play at the end of the film. Next, our next box here is what has become one of my kids' favorite levels to play. Excuse my dog, who's very itchy right now, but Sonic the Hedgehog. And this is the one character that I didn't get super cheap because he was out of GameStop, out of all the stores, all, in eBay, everybody's paying like $30. It's hard to find a set for less than $30, but I did get it for $20, so I'm happy I didn't overpay for it, but still very expensive. But I like the character. I wanted the character anyway, just as a collector. And then, I didn't, he's got a car because they had to give him a build of some sort, but, I'm like, I would have rather seen, the scientist's flying saucer or something to that effect. And, you also got a plane with a rotating propeller blade, which is kind of cool. And again, a cool build, but there are other things within the Sonic world that I would have rather seen as a model. Now, forgive me for the pronunciation, Shima, always drive me nuts with pronunciation, but this is Erwin or Aaron, the Eagle, and I just need a Shima character to open up the Shima world, which I love. Now that's what LEGO should have done is, these unique worlds that look completely different from all the other open worlds, and, I think that would have been a better goal for the Dimensions game. But there's 3 characters. I just tried to find the cheapest one that I could get so I could open up the world, and he's the one that was the cheapest. And then he had an Eagle plane, which is really cool. I did like the Eagle plane, and you'll see it's in pieces. This isn't because it didn't fit. It's because, once again, I used it to take apart several pieces out so I could build a few mocks on my own and do tutorial videos. Then we have Emmett. I got this one because, one, I didn't need to open up the LEGO Adventure World because the LEGO Movie World because I already have Wild Style, which came in the box. But there are so many like red bricks, gold bricks, mini kits that you need Emmett to open that I got him, and I am glad that I got him. He got this cool little like bulldozer, and I think that looks really cool too. It's a very nice build and good build techniques. And another set that I wanted just as a collector before I played the game, but the Gremlins is, as you can tell, my childhood 80s comes through with this Dimension set, but that's not going to help those people who are born, like, you know, in the last century. But there's Gizmo, so great set, classic film, so I think it still holds up and is watched today like Ghostbusters, but again, kind of like Michael Knight and all these other 80s shows they did, and I'm not sure how it really fit. And here you've got a camera, because we know that flash on the camera helps save a lot of people from the Gremlins because of the brake light, brake light! And of course, it wouldn't be complete without Gizmo's remote control car that he drove around the mall or the big building in the second Gremlins film, which I don't think was as good, but I loved it a lot because it was so campy. And now let's get back to the final box of my Dimension set. For my final box, I've got, you see where I kind of combined a team pack and a fun pack. So here we've got the Firestar, and she's a cool character. I got her at the 99-cent store, so I actually got this before I even played LEGO Dimensions. And then we've got, where is she? There she is. And of course, I keep blanking on these names when I'm pulling these things out, even though I know who they are. I can't get Shadow in my head, but it's not Shadow. Anyway, so she's a great character in the game because of her magic, her ability to fly, and then some of her other special abilities can come in handy in the game. Electricity is the other one that's very handy. And then we have Beast Boy, who changes shapes, and I think it's just good to get a male character in there. And here we have the little robot that comes with Firestar, probably figured out by the color scheme. And then this just had to be taken apart with the toy pad on, but the model fit completed. It's her shadow book or her spell book that she gets to use. And then we've got the little blue car, and you know, I don't watch Teen Titans, so I'm not exactly sure what that is or in the film or cartoon. And then of course I had to get Legolas. And the reason I got Legolas is because I wanted really just from my collection some Lord of the Rings characters, because I only have like Gandalf, and now I've got 2 Gandalfs. So I just want a Lord of the Rings character, and he also is really good with his targeting abilities, his jumping abilities, his slide ability. So I wanted him because at the time I'd been using Green Arrow to do all his abilities, but I'd like to sell the Green Arrow and then buy Supergirl with that. And here's his little crossbow that he comes with. Again, it's one of those models that they kind of had to figure out something to build because he doesn't really have a vehicle. He's trekking through Middle Earth. And you'll see here like a couple blank spots. Now, the reason I say a couple blank spots is because this is probably as big as my collection will get in size. And as I mentioned earlier, I'd like to sell like the Green Arrow to get Supergirl. I'd probably sell you know, one of the Teen Titans to buy another superhero set, and just kind of like move them around so I can get all the characters at some point to do stop builds for. But there you have my LEGO Dimension collection, and next we're going to move on to how to store boxes. I'm sure you've all kind of figured out different ways to open these boxes, but they're very difficult to open without damaging. And what I did to kind of preserve the box was, there's that tape right here where the box tucks into itself, and what you do is I got a very, very small knife, and just usually you could find at the very corner a little opening in that tape where it doesn't cover the hole, and just slide my knife across. And then it can open up very easily like that. But sometimes it would be difficult, and there was no space to slide that knife in, so what I would just have to do is puncture it in the center and then go across and open it nicely, and now both ends of the box are open, and I take the contents out to build. But the problem is these boxes, they're awkwardly shaped, and they're hard to store because they take up a lot of space and they can get damaged corners easily. So what I did was I got the box, and then I'd flatten it down like this, and then I would get the instruction manual and just kind of slide it in there. And if you do it down, there's enough space to get that instruction manual in easily. If you go up, it kind of crushes the manual, and I'm doing that because this is the 99-cent store one, so I'm not too concerned about the box. So I slid it in there, and then here I've got my box ready to store. And after I had all the boxes broken down, and you know, you get this very thick pile, I kind of arranged them by the type of pack they were. So I put all the fun packs together, and you know, I try to sort them by theme if that was possible. And then after having this huge, thick stack, I just kind of take about half of that stack and turn it around like this. And then here we've got kind of like a nice stack that doesn't lean, because if any of you know, when you stack like binders and books, they kind of lean up where the spine is because the spine is thicker. So this way they kind of make it a little more flat and easy to store. And of course, I also did that with the team packs and team packs and level packs. And the reason I did team and level together was because they're both the same size, and sometimes a team and a level pack would match up according to theme. So I just do the same thing, got this big old thick stack, kind of go half, not exact, just eyeballing it, turn them around, now they're ready to go in the box. Next, we have these larger story pack boxes. I think I missed story pack instead of like level pack, but you know that these are the story pack boxes. And these were a nice triangle box, so there's no worry about making them flat, switching them around, they already are. But after we get these boxes and all the boxes kind of folded down and ready to use, we get our large starter pack box that smaller box came in, that the what do you call it, the toy pad came with, the 3 characters came with, the mini builds came with, like all that was in this huge box. And now what you do is you get that big box, and there's also the little instruction manual and checkoff sheet you get. So I'm going to put that in there. And then once you have this box empty and all other boxes flattened, we get our larger story pack boxes. And I like to do the story box first because they kind of fit in there nice and easy, and they also kind of give us some weight to kind of lay down as we get the other stuff to come in. The next thing I do is get our second largest packs, the level packs and the team packs, and we're going to put those in next. Now forgive me because I'm doing this, one-handed behind a camera, so believe me, I'm a lot more coordinated when I'm doing it with 2 hands and not a camera in front of me. So you just kind of drop those in, and you might want to squeeze them a little tighter because the instruction manuals can slide out. Of course, I was doing this like 2 or 3 at a time, so that was easier to do. So here we've got a box. It's it's getting full in there, but that's because the boxes have expanded up. They're going to easily push down and give us more room. So the next thing I do is I get all my little tiny fun packs, and honestly, I think this is kind of what put LEGO Dimension out of business because there were so many unnecessary story packs. Bart Simpson, Krusty the Clown didn't really give you any new gameplay, so you basically had to buy these two, or didn't have to, but you had to buy, another $20 in sets if you wanted to complete it, but it didn't add anything to gameplay, so why get it? Anyway, so here we go. Got the small boxes. I'm just going to push down on those level packs and story packs and then slide them in here just like this. And now you can see not only do I have them all inside here, but there's even room for more if I needed it. So I can still get a few more sets and fit them neatly and small, very big, saving space. So store them safely and save yourself a lot of room. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and you can click on the image to watch another video. Until next time, let's keep building together.